Cutting Up Radio, ladies and gentlemen. And today is going to be a bit different because, for a change, we are going to try our damnness to be recorded on YouTube. So, for starters, I'm going to put my phone down. As always, I got my co-host Kel up on the podcast with me. And for today, the topic that I want to go with, starting off, O.J. Simpson. The reason I gotta start off talking about that bastard is very simple. I am 27 years old. When he killed them two white people, everybody know he did it, so yo. When he killed them two white people, that was in 1994. Why the fuck is the world still talking about OJ? Nobody give a shit about OJ. If I ask my nephew today, you know who OJ is? My nephew gonna look at me. Orange juice. That ain't what I'm talking about. But I say that for a reason. I'm sick of this motherfucker. All the police killings that is happening, I'm sick of O.J. Simpson. And I keep saying that because he got a new show, a brand spanking new show on Investigation Discovery, O.J. and Nicole. When O.J. Simpson came out with the Lost confession, he openly said he killed him. After that, they should have just let the shit go. Why the fuck is there still being shows made?
I mean, if they can't at least let it go, then just arrest the guy. If you still think you can prove that he did it, just arrest him and get it over with. But the big reason why we're talking about that, other than, like you said, Investigation Discovery has a brand new show. We've been talking about this case for 30 years. I don't know what new is going to come to light, but the timing of it to me is what the problem is. Because with all this stuff going on with Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and Black Lives Matter and all that, to try to sit there and harp on the one time that a black guy got away with murder, and yes, me and you, we are two black guys who believe that OJ did it, for a fact. And I've told you this before, that I really do believe that black people, even back then, knew that OJ Simpson did it. But the only reason that they were happy to see him get away, the only reason that black people were celebrating the way they was about it, wasn't because OJ got away, because black people didn't give a fuck about OJ. We only wanted to see that happen just so y'all can see how we feel all the time. Like, y'all felt that anger once. Y'all felt that injustice once. But look at all the names that we can name to say we felt the exact same thing. And y'all keep bringing up, well, OJ. 20 years from now, it'll still be, well, OJ. Like, nobody cares anymore. The people are dead. What happened is gone.
Yes.
Like, that's why I say either arrest the guy or just shut the fuck up.
And at the end of the day, the people that the world wishes was alive, that way we could talk to them, they are dead. The world wishes Johnny Cochran was still alive. I wish like hell Johnny Cochran could have lived to see O.J. Simpson, The Lost Confession, be released. I wish that. His friend Robert Kardashian, allegedly, O.J. gave the bag to Robert Kardashian that had like the bloody clothes and knife. So I know that people would be like tearing their life up trying their best to ask Robert Kardashian what was in the brown bag when OJ gave it to you. But this is 2020. People that probably most likely ain't even know OJ even had a fucking brown bag till I said it. People don't give a shit about OJ at all.
No, that's something that's in the past. And before people try to compare that with Breonna Taylor's case, there was proof OJ did it. I mean, there was evidence that he did it. And like you said, he even said now, basically, that he did it. But with Breonna Taylor, there is no evidence whatsoever that she was knee-deep in the drug game. There was no evidence whatsoever. Well, they claim that there is evidence, but the thing is they don't show it. They claim it's a video that's supposed to prove the cop's innocence, but they don't release it. They didn't get the drugs that they were looking for. And the guy that they were looking for, who was her ex-boyfriend, maybe this is a woman who was trying to do better. Maybe she knew that this guy was a drug dealer, and, she's trying to be an EMT and a nurse. Maybe she knew I should get away from him and get with, this other man. And this other man who was the one that shot at the police, he didn't even have a record. He was a legal gun owner. He didn't have a big, long record with the police. So she was with this man. So why did y'all go into her house looking for her ex-boyfriend anyway, shooting guns?
Who was already locked up, by the way.
And plus, there was no indication that they were police. Because if they knocked and claimed that they were the police like they said, why didn't they pull up in a police car?
There you go.
Why didn't they have badges? Why weren't they dressed in their uniform? That would have been a dead giveaway. You wouldn't have had to say this man didn't know. That's why people say this man didn't know you were the police. There was no indication. So even if random men in their regular clothes in a regular car did knock on your door and say, I'm the police, you don't know that for a fact. You don't know who these motherfuckers are.
There you go.
And then you see that they have guns. Like, what is your reaction going to be in a country that advocates that everybody should have 50 guns in their home? What is the reaction going to be when 3 men who don't look like cops come up to your door with guns talking about they're the cops? What would you do?
There you go. It's something, ain't it?
So, like I said, they have all this evidence they claim they do, but they won't show it. And when you look at this with actual logic and look at actual facts, like I said, you can see that the guy they were looking for wasn't there. I don't hear anything about his case. Did they ever find this guy yet? That they were supposed to be looking for, this man who was so dangerous that 3 men had to look for him, strapped with guns, with no indication that they were cops. And it's like I said too, with that case. If the police knocked on the door and said police, and this man shot through the door, they were supposed to take cover. Yes, they were supposed to draw their guns, but take cover, secure the perimeter, whatever they have to do, because there's a gunman apparently on the loose, call for backup, do what they got to do. Like, killing, here's the thing. For police officers, killing is a very last resort. That is when there is no other choice. They could do so many other things. They could have shot in the leg. They could have done a lot of other things. Like I said, call for backup. Have cops surround the house and have someone come through the back door and get them. There was an easier way to do this. There were many ways this could have been done. But people are so blinded by their own racism that they believe that cops can just automatically pull out a gun and just shoot you because you looked at them wrong. That is, shooting somebody is supposed to be a very last resort. And when school shooters are arrested, church shooters are arrested, concert shooters are all arrested, these theater shootings, all these mass shootings that America has, they either commit suicide or they get arrested. Well, I can't even hardly say arrested. I have to say escorted away. Or it seems like police are protecting them, especially Dylan Roof, the one who shut up that black church. They protected him and fed him Burger King. I've never heard of an inmate who just shot up a bunch of people and killed them dead getting Burger King. Y'all were supposed to immediately arrest him, take him to jail, throw him under the jail, until his court date came, his sentencing came. But this man is sitting down eating Burger King. The only way they're supposed to get what they want to eat is if that's their last meal. And he didn't go to the electric chair or lethal injection.
Not Dylan Roof.
No.
That's
Yeah,
all I can say.
Like nothing happened to him. He's still in jail to this very day, thank God. He's probably going to get released soon. But he's in jail to this day. And like I said, there was just so many other ways the cops could have handled this. If you become a cop with the mindset that if I'm in danger, I can just kill somebody, you don't need to be a cop. Because those are the kind of cops that are going to, again, as soon as they tremble at the slightest sound, they're going to want to pull a gun out.
There you go.
You have batons, you have tasers, you have rubber bullets. You have ways to take people down. This is what training is for. You were trained to handle situations like this. And if I know for a fact that there were many other ways that this could have been handled, why don't they know that there were many other ways this could have been handled? I understand if Breonna Taylor's boyfriend shot first at them, I can understand them being afraid for their lives at that point. I can't understand these other cops who have killed unarmed men or, killed Philando Castile because he was trying to show you he had a gun. I don't understand that at all. But I can understand these men actually being afraid if the case was this man shot first. But, again, you are trained to be in those situations. I'm not trained to be in those situations. If somebody did that to me, yes, I would have reacted the way they did. I would have shot back and not stopped until I hit a motherfucker. But I'm not trained. They're trained to handle this. They didn't take cover, secure the perimeter, make sure that everybody was safe. Plus, they just shot up the neighbor's house too. And that's the only reason the one officer was arrested was only because he accidentally hit the neighbor's home with some bullets. He wasn't arrested for indicted basically for Breonna Taylor's murder.
Foul high in the drug game.
So if you apply logic to this and look at it, there's no way. They negotiate with terrorists, hostage takers, school shooters, and people like that. They quick to negotiate. But you can't negotiate with us, black people?
Hell no, because
your first thing is to shoot us?
Because at the end of the day, I have no idea why, but black people are the number one, targets in America. It go way deeper than even just slavery. Cause when you do the research about slavery, according to what was found, I have no idea how true this is. According to what was found, it was black people that sold us out. Now, like I say, I have no idea how true that is. I really don't. But I'm like, dear Lord. And all of these fucking policemen getting away, living la vida loca. I wish OJ would have killed Nicole and Ron in 2020. I seriously wish it.
He'd have been dead. Fuck trying to arrest the guy, he'd have been dead.
It don't get no realer than that.
Straight up, because they're showing you now you're no longer safe in your own home. Their whole case in that was built around the fact that cops can come into your house with no matter what their intentions are, they can come into your house, do what they want, and you can't defend yourself, because if you do, they not only can they kill you, but even if you do, they can arrest you. They can do whatever they want, and they won't be found guilty. Though they entered into your home looking for a problem even, you are not allowed to defend yourself. And that's what this case has just showed. That police can walk into your house, do whatever they want, and you cannot defend yourself. And to anybody who supports the police, because here's the thing, I do believe for a fact that there are great policemen. There are really great policemen out there because I've met them. I have had run-ins with the law, but I have never been arrested once. I've only been ticketed once in my entire life. Every other cop that's ever pulled me over or whatever has been nothing but nice to me. Let me go. Just tell me what the problem was and just let me go. Tell me what I did and just let me go. Give me a warning. So I cannot sit here and say like I've been harassed and pulled out of a car and harassed about my race or anything like that. But so that means I know that yes, there are good cops. So I support those good cops. I cannot support the laws that protect police as a whole to basically do what they want. They have so much power that they can run rampant and not be punished. So even if there are good cops, we're still upset with the laws that are saying that they can still do whatever they want simply because they have a badge, they have a gun, they have a squad car, just because they're a police officer. That to me reminds me of the Gestapo back in Germany. They could do whatever they wanted to the people in Germany for Adolf Hitler, and they were never punished. Adolf sent out the message, and then they went and enforced that message. That's exactly what's happening now. Trump is trying to send a message, and these police are out here sending it. And they aren't being punished for their violent behavior, these violent criminal acts. They're not being punished for that. If you or I did that, we'd be punished. If I don't care if they did have drugs in the house. If I walk into somebody's house and know for a fact there are a bunch of drugs, a boatload of drugs in their house. If I go over there with guns, knock on their door, no indication that I'm a cop, because I'm not a cop, but I just knock on their door, and they see me with a gun and they don't know me, and they shoot at me and I shoot back and kill them, even if they did have drugs in that house, I'm going to jail.
Yeah.
So they literally are telling you cops are above the law. They used to say no one is above the law, but now, this year, they have now shown you that cops are above the law, especially where black people are concerned.
Orange is the New Black is the #1 show that to me predicted so much of 2020. Black Lives Matter, all we're trying to do is just get notification for the bullshit that we are put through. I'm sick of always hearing these Uncle Tom ass fools say this person was a criminal before, this person was a criminal, this person was. I'm sick of hearing was. Do people not understand what the hell was mean?
That's what they do. When a black person dies from injustice, especially at the hand of cops, the first thing everybody does is look up a criminal record. But when a white person dies, nobody looks up a criminal record. When a white person shoots up a school or any mass shooting, it's, well, let's see why he did this. Is it video games' fault? Is it the fact that he was bullied? Is it violent movies? Is it rap and rock music? They look for excuses for the killer, and they still do that. Because when it's us and we're killed by the police, they look up excuses for the killer. Just like when they shoot up schools and other places, they look for excuses for the killer. But they look for an excuse and for a reason for us to be the victims. I don't care, like you just said, if somebody had a criminal past and they've been to jail for it, so what? You can't go knock on a pedophile's door and when they answer, you can punch them in the face and beat them up. Would they deserve it? Yes. But you can't do that because you're on their property, randomly beating them up. Just because you are taking out criminals doesn't mean that's what do they call it? Vigilante justice? That's what that would be. And I know it's a cop's job to stop crime. I know it's a cop's job to take down criminals. But it's not a cop's job to go out and kill anybody they perceive to be doing wrong.
That's why the one thing that I say this, and this one thing I mean more than a lot of the shit that I say on the podcast. I wish that there would be a movie made about the Breonna Taylor case. Because I know one of them fucking policemen, if not all three of them damn policemen, knew who the fuck that woman was.
I wouldn't be surprised. When it first happened, I actually heard rumors that the fact that she was an EMT during a pandemic, a lot of people was like, she knew something that she shouldn't have known about the coronavirus. Basically. And that's why this happened. Like, that was one of the first theories I heard. Because a lot of people, when they first heard about this case, said this could not have been coincidental. This could not have been an accident.
Yeah.
But now, as we, time goes past, and they create more evidence, because that's another thing I'm sick of. When something first comes out, it always changes later.
Yeah.
George Floyd's first autopsy said there was no drugs in the system. The second one now said there was.
There you go.
The guy who was the witness in the Breonna Taylor case at first said he heard no knocking or indication that the police were over. Then his story changed to, oh yes, wait a minute, I did hear knocking and they did say they were the police. It's awful convenient that they stories change.
There you go. Because the reason I bring up Orange is the New Black, anybody that fucks with that show, now I know that the show has ended, but that one season where Pusey was killed off by an officer, and they was like showing all the different stories that they could come up with, that was mind blowing. I actually can't believe that they even let that episode be on Netflix, because they went so far. Well, if it's not her fault, well, okay, now we're going to blame the officer. But yet, of course, one of the officer's comrades did not want that kid to go down for what he did. Now, at the end of the day, the character was a good guy. But he still killed Pusey off. He murdered that woman. And yet again, when Tasty, which is one of Pusey's closest friends, when she finally got notification, people finally start opening their eyes to her, here come Orange is the New Black. There was a group started in the prison. Now, what they said on Orange is the New Black, white lives matter. How about all lives matter? Just put two and two together. Like I say, I'm a conspiracy theorist, but that is too funny. I dare anyone, go back and look at the season of Orange is the New Black. A lot of shit that's happening now, they predicted. Now, like I say, that's me speaking on being a conspiracy theorist, but just watch that season. You're going to see what the hell I mean. That's all the hell I can say about this bullshit that's happening, dog.
It's crazy to me because a lot of people, especially white, usually tell black people to stop making everything about race. Like, we always get that. White people say, you always make everything about race. You always holler racism, blah, blah, blah. And no, I don't like when people use racist or racism when it's not justified. I don't like that either. Because when somebody does go through that, it's the boy who cried wolf. Now they don't believe that person.
There you go.
But when you tell us to stop making things about race, then you have to stop doing the same thing and stop making things about race. You cannot tell me that the majority of the white people who are against Black Lives Matter and are for the police and all that, you cannot tell me that they can look at this Breonna Taylor case with any logic and say that these cops were in the right. And don't give me that, well, they shouldn't have shot up the neighbor's house. No, I'm talking about how they did Breonna Taylor and her boyfriend. Y'all love guns. This man had a gun to protect his home. 3 men And no squad car, no uniform, no indication that they were police that this man could see. And if they were on duty conducting an investigation and they're coming to them saying, we are cops, we are police, they should have been in a cop car. They should have had a uniform, had badges, had some sort of proof that they were cops. But they had none of that. So this man didn't believe it. In 2020, why would you believe somebody randomly knocking on your door saying, I'm a cop, and all they have is a gun? No squad car, no badge, no uniform. You're going to shoot. You're going to be like, no, I'm not believing this. You're going to do something. And like I said earlier, the cops had many different ways they could have handled that, and they didn't. So when you tell us to stop making things about race, I just say this: switch roles. Let it been 3 black men who were cops, or not cops, however way you want to look at it, but 3 black men rolling into somebody's house, knocking with guns, and you're in your house with your girlfriend, and you have a gun. You know, what are you going to do?
There you go.
Like, that's all I can say. People need to start putting themselves into other people's shoes, excuse me, and they will see things from their perspective. And if you put yourself in that man's shoes, and like I said, you see these 3 guys, you don't know why they're here. They're looking for drugs. Ain't no drugs in this house. So you are confused. You're thinking, well, what the hell is going on? It's 2020. All this crazy shit is happening. I'm not taking any chances either. They were looking for somebody who was not there to get drugs that they did not find and kill a woman who had nothing to do with it. That's what, and they got away with it. Just look at it like that. Don't put the word cops in it. Don't put the word white or black in it. Look at it like that. They came to the wrong house looking for the wrong person, shot an innocent woman dead just to look for drugs that weren't there. Either these are the worst cops in history, or something's going on here. Like, you have to admit to this. Either these are just horrible cops who deserve to be in jail, or something is wrong. But they can't look at it like that. These cops are automatically right because they're cops. So they're automatically right no matter what they do, they're cops. And it's not just them telling you that, it's the country as a whole telling you that. But the fact that 2 got away and 1 only went to jail for basically endangering the neighbors. So, but they want to talk about O.J. Simpson. Let's talk about O.J. Fuck all that. Let's just talk about O.J. Let's talk about what happened 30 years ago.
There you go.
Nobody cared about Nicole or Ron. Nobody cared about them. The only claim to fame that they had was the fact that they just happened to be murdered by O.J. Simpson.
There you go.
And they were murdered by a random so-and-so. Y'all wouldn't give a fuck about this case.
There you go.
But let's keep talking about it. It's so much we obviously don't know about this case that happened 30 years ago.
Even though he has blatantly come out on video, mind you, where he says in so many words that he did it. After the O.J. Simpson, the Lost Confession came out, that should have been it. That should have been it. I'm sick and tired of O.J. Simpson. Like I say, if I ask my nephew today or tomorrow, you know who O.J. Simpson is? Ain't O.J. Juice? Yeah.
It's just for those old bitter white people who still want to hear those stories. Especially right now. They're looking for that kind of story. Imagine being an old white person who lived through that case. And now you see Breonna Taylor's case, but here comes ID Network with OJ and Nicole. You're going to tune in.
Yeah.
So,
because at the end of the day, they say that O.J. Simpson, the Lost Confession, it was a bomb when it aired on TV. Now to me, not no surprise, but I believe it was 3 million that tuned in to watch it. Those 3 million people, I bet was predominantly white racists. That's who I bet tuned in to watch that shit.
And with all the shit with race going on now, like I said, I know for a fact they got 3 million that time. They looking at a cool 10 million this time because, like I said, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a case like that they can watch, so they don't have to keep listening about George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. They want to hear a case that they want to hear about.
There you go.
But since we are trying to keep these shorter, so hopefully they can get uploaded to YouTube. Is that it, or any closing statements?
Well, let me ask, how much time that we got left? Because, ladies and gentlemen, we are trying our best to like record maybe a 30-minute podcast to see if YouTube will take it, even though YouTube hates us for some reason. But
I think we just hit 31 minutes.
well, let's just close it right there. With that being said,
And by the way,
what's that?
one last thing I would like to say, just in case to anybody who sees this, if y'all have Anchor or Spotify, look up Cutting Up Radio, Cuttin Up Radio, because that is our podcast on Spotify and Anchor. So if y'all like this video, or if y'all like what you're hearing and y'all want to hear more of us, check us out on Anchor or Spotify.
Just look up Cutting Up Radio. With that being said, we out this motherfucker.